If you put on a new fan clutch or rebuilt fan clutch onto the pulley, the next step is to rebuild the pulley by installing new pulley bearings. This is absolutely necessary because if there is any amount of play in the pulley bearings, it will cause vibrations in the rear air seal, which will cause an air leak, which leads to premature failure. Chances are that play in the pulley bearings is what caused the first fan clutch to fail. It would be a shame to have done such a good job rebuilding the fan clutch only to have something else cause a failure. If you put on a new fan clutch or rebuilt fan clutch onto the pulley without replacing the pulley bearing that caused all these issues, you can probably expect to have another failure on the newly installed fan clutch. Now, to rebuild the hub, first you will need to know the proper bearing kit to use. To locate the proper bearing kit part number, you must find either the part number of the hub or the complete fan clutch assembly. The hub numbers typically start with 1077, while the complete fan clutch assembly numbers start with 1093. Newer models may have part numbers that begin with 0100. These part numbers are usually located on a tag somewhere on the bracket. Once you know one of these part numbers, you can go to Kitmaster's website, www.kitmasters.com, or use the cross-reference section of our catalog. Or call a customer service representative at 800-810-9110 to find the part number of the bearing kit. Once you have the proper bearing kit, you can begin to rebuild the hub. Begin by removing the bearing nut by using an 1 5/8" socket. Save this nut. Then remove and save the washer. The next step is to separate the pulley from the shaft. You may be able to do this using 2 pry bars, or you may need to use a press. Next, using a snap ring pliers, remove and discard the snap ring from the pulley. Now, you are ready to remove the bearings. Because each bearing is held with its own snap ring, you cannot simply press out the bearings. You need to pound them out. Begin by removing the back bearing first. This is the bearing that would have been closest to the bracket. Using a bar of some kind, hammer the bearing out as evenly as possible. Once removed, you may discard the bearing. Next, using a snap ring pliers, remove and discard the second snap ring. Then, using the same process as before, hammer out the second bearing and discard it. Clean the shaft and pulley with a solvent and rag. Once clean, inspect the shaft and pulley for any scratch or defects. If the shaft and pulley are free of defects, begin by pressing in the first bearing from the back of the pulley using a bearing press. Ensure the bearing is bottomed out against the back lip of the pulley, but take care not to press so hard that you break the lip. Joe has just installed the first of the bearings using a press, and now using a snap ring pliers, he's going to install the first of the 2 new snap rings. He's going to ensure that the snap ring is seated properly in its groove. Next, using the same process, install the second bearing and the second snap ring. Now you are ready to press the bracket back into the pulley. Once the pulley and bracket are reassembled, install the washer and lock nut. Tighten the bearing lock nut to 170 foot-pounds. Congratulations! You have successfully rebuilt your BorgWarner Kysor-Style hub assembly. Now that you have rebuilt the hub using the proper Kitmaster's hub bearing kit, you may now reinstall the fan clutch onto the pulley. Place the fan clutch on the pulley, ensuring that the rear air shaft is inserted into the pulley shaft and the coupler is aligned. Now simply bolt the fan clutch to the hub using the 6 mounting bolts provided in the kit.